Today our subject is going to be a variety of peppers. So we have a few more shapes. So at first it might look a little complicated, but basically we're going to use two shapes, a circle and a stretched out oval that's sort of triangular like, but it's an oval. Just like before, we're going to look first and we're going to work from front to back. So I want to map out my drawing first. And I'm getting the oval shape, the circular shape. I have a smaller pepper here, kind of triangular, sort of oval, and one in the back. Okay, and now I'm ready to start drawing. You'll notice that my lines are not too dark, and I think that's good enough. Okay, so now I'm going to start with the pepper that's closest to me. And I'm looking at the shape while I'm drawing, and I'm following the contour line. If I go off the page, that's fine, but I'm going to look at where that long pepper is going to come back into the page. And peppers have bumps, so I want to pay attention to that. Now I'm going to do the stem. The stem is pretty thick, and it has a circular shape on the end. Okay. All right, there's the first pepper. Now I'm going to come to the yellow pepper. The yellow pepper here that's next behind. And I want to look where the crown, that's the green part, that's called the crown of the pepper is. What is that edge like? And I'm sort of looking at the shape that I drew for my map, but remember it's okay if it's not perfect. Now the red pepper down here is the next closest pepper, so I want to look at where that touches my green pepper. That's my starting point. What is the shape? And then again, this red pepper has a crown. And it has the stem where it hangs onto the plant. Okay, going from the red pepper back, now I'm going to this next pepper that's behind. Since I drew this one first, I'm going to start where it touches this one and come up to where it meets the red pepper. They're overlapping. I don't want to have to erase. Okay, so there's my pepper. And again, I'm going to draw the crown. And this stem comes out. It's a lot thinner than the stem on the pepper that was up here. So I need, this one was thick, this one is thin. So I need to show that. All right. Let's go back here to the big green pepper in the back. I'm going to start right here. Where does this touch the pepper? That's my starting place. So I'm looking, remember we always want to look. And I'm following the outside contour first. And it happens to be in the back. And I'm stopping. Why? Because I have to draw the stem there, so I'm going to leave a little space. And I'm following the shoulder, the edge of that pepper down. Now, when I look at the pepper up here, I see I also have a contour that comes up here. I have a contour that comes here, and I have a contour that comes here. So I'm going to come back to this left edge where I started, and I'm going to follow the front lobe, that's called a lobe of the pepper, and it comes down to where it touches the stem and comes through, comes back up, and has a little bump here, Okay, so I'm looking at that edge. Now that I have that front edge, I can place the stem. And again, the stem is thick and it is not straight, and it's kind of jagged on the end. Now that I have my stem, I can come in and place my other lobes, and I think that's fine. Okay, so now I'm going to move. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have 1 pepper left to draw. So I started here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I have my biggest pepper left. So let's look at where it's going to touch this one, where the edge starts. And again, I'm following the contour. And this time, this curve of the stem is really important. So I might change, and it's a little thicker here. I might change that end a little bit, but I'm going to do that first and then pick up where that edge of the pepper comes across and follow that contour. If the line or contour of the form changes, I have to change my line. Okay. Now this pepper's a little different because if I look at the pepper, I have a big contour here. So I'm going to draw that one first. So I'm coming up to the big bump and it comes down. Then off of that, I'm going to come up here to this crown. We call this a crown. So I'm going to follow this around the top of the pepper. I'm looking. And again, it's okay if it doesn't exactly match what's there, but I want to get the idea of the pepper. Okay, so I will develop that as I'm shading. And I think that's pretty good. This, I'm going to see it comes up just a little bit higher on the inside of that shoulder as well. So we have kind of the edge where it's turning, but we also have an inside edge. I want to check and see if there's anything else that I have. I think that's good. So it's kind of going down inside, almost like a crater. And I want to check to see where the bottom edge of the pepper is, right here. So now between these two, I see a little bit of the bottom of the pepper. So I'm going to put that in that negative space so we know that the pepper's going back into the distance. Okay. So let's review. We started with some basic shapes first, the stretched out oval, the circle, a smaller stretched out oval, and a stretched out oval. So our basic shapes, ovals and circles. We made those skeleton frameworks first. We started from the front and drew our front pepper first, paying attention to the contour. We went next to the next pepper, paying attention to the direction, not worrying too much if it was exactly right. The next pepper, we paid attention to overlapping. And when we looked at the larger peppers with a little more complex shape and form, we followed the contour of the edge first and then added the interior lines. And we did the same with the pepper in the back. Started with what was close. I interrupted the drawing or the line of the contour of the edge to do the contour of the stem, followed that around, and then came and broke it up into the different planes or surfaces of the pepper. Okay? In our next segment, we will talk about how to shade.